Hello there everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to talk about the brand new Superman film, and today I actually made a bingo card for this film. In the previous video I talked about Jurassic World Rebirth, and I made a little bingo card for that film when I'm actually going to watch it. Obviously I did the same thing for the Superman film right now, or in this video I'm going to show off what obviously I did on this bingo card and what I think will happen in the film. So right, let's go! Alright, this is the Superman bingo card. I'm going to go over all these squares and I'm going to explain what I think will happen in the new Superman film, obviously, when I'm going to see it. So right, let's talk about these three squares here at the upper, I guess, line. We have the Justice League setup, obviously. The Superman film will hopefully set up the new Justice League. So alright, let's talk about that. The new Superman film will introduce the Justice Gang, I suppose, featuring Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, also Mr. Terrific, and perhaps maybe Superman included too. But I'm not quite sure. I think the Justice Gang, or what Guy Gardner calls the Justice Gang, will eventually, evolve into the Justice League, where obviously all the members of the team of the Justice Gang are included, obviously, in the Justice League. So, for example, Hawkgirl is always included in the Justice League, and Mr. Terrific is also included in the Justice League, and obviously Guy Gardner is also included in the Justice League. But I think, some of these groups or some of these people will split off or maybe join the team. I think I'll talk about that later too, that some people will form other teams. So alright, let's talk about the next square. And that is the tragic love story between Hawkman and Hawkgirl. So alright, let's get into it. So the thing is about Hawkgirl, played by Isabella Merced. She is such an interesting character. Like, Hawkgirl is part Egyptian, part science fiction, alien-ish. I'm going to talk about that because at some point during, I suppose the reign of the pharaohs, right, in Egypt, hath set, so a villain stabbed Hawkman and Hawkgirls in past life, and in doing so caused all three of them to reincarnate over and over and over again. So that means Hawkman and Hawkgirl are actually somehow, some way, I suppose, inevitably, able to reincarnate. And that's interesting because Hawkgirl in the film, we haven't really seen a lot about or a lot of her in the trailers and in obviously the description of the film. But I think Hawkgirl will obviously play a big role in the future of the universe because Hawkman and Hawkgirl are interesting characters. I suppose Hawkman first touched some kind of like stone which made him obviously reincarnate later down his life, and his lover Hawkman and Hawkgirl, so I don't really know their Egyptian names or their prehistoric names or whatever, but obviously they're connected in a way, and if they die they are going to meet each other once again in another life and in another life and in another life and so on and so forth. So obviously, but the thing is, Hawkgirl has many versions, and so does Hawkman. But Hawkgirl also loves other people, right? So not only Hawkman, but sometimes she doesn't really want this curse anymore, and she dates, for example, Jon Stewart's Green Lantern, and also dated a lot of other persons too. So yeah, is this going to be established in the Superman film? I'm not quite sure, but it would be very interesting to see because they have a tragic love story, and their love story goes back to many years, obviously in the past, and even obviously almost like in Egyptian times. So yeah, their prehistoric, I suppose, love story is somehow, some way very interesting to talk about and to learn about. So alright, let's talk about the next square up next. And this is the Justice Society of America setup. So alright, let's talk about that one too. So the Justice Society of America is also a group of superheroes. This one also includes Hawkman / Hawkgirl, also I suppose sometimes a Green Lantern, sometimes a Flash, sometimes Stargirl, and these are essentially the prime superheroes, I would say. or the old prime superheroes. It's interesting to talk about that because the difference between the Justice Society of America and the Justice League, is quite big, I suppose. But some heroes in the Justice League are also part of the Justice Society of America. Like Doctor Fate is also part of like the Justice League and the Justice Society of America. Hawkman, Hawkgirl, the same thing. Some of the Green Lanterns too. We obviously saw the Justice Society of America in Black Adam, but I'm not quite sure if they're going to reintroduce them in this film, in the new Superman film. But obviously, the thing is, it's very interesting because these superheroes are essentially like I suppose the golden age superheroes. Like they're a bit older, they're a bit wiser than the now. I guess the most recent superheroes, but we'll need to wait and see for that because this group of characters is essentially like the grandfathers of the Justice League, I would say. Speaking in a figurative speech here, but I mean they're older, they're wiser, and they know more about the world, and I suppose they're more into politics. I would say it's interesting. Obviously, we've seen them in obviously Legends of Tomorrow too, but obviously we'll need to wait and see for that too. Alright, the next three squares are Guy Gardner's frustrations, or my frustrations for Guy Gardner. We have Wonder Woman and obviously Martian Manhunter and obviously the LOD, the League of Doom setup. So let's talk about these three up next. Suppose the Guy Gardner frustrations first of all. I guess, yeah, I think Guy Gardner is going to, frustrate me a bit in the film. He's obviously played by Nathan Fillion, but I think sometimes I'm going to have so much frustrations on this guy. I'm not quite sure how and why, but Guy Gardner is a huge dick sometimes in the comics, and he laughs with people. I mean, he's not really that friendly, and yeah, I don't know. Let's just wait and see how much he will go, on my nerves, right? So right, the second square is a smaller one, and I'm not quite sure, but I'll talk about another one and another smaller one up next too. But this is Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter. I suppose I'm not quite sure if they're going to appear in the film. This is a smaller. This is a rarer square, right? This is one that I wasn't really sure I was going to include, but I did because why not, right? Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter. Wonder Woman, obviously one of the Holy Trinity of the Justice League and obviously DC Comics. Martian Manhunter, he's obviously also from obviously Mars. He's also an alien, and I think Superman and Martian Manhunter will get along quite nicely. I'm not quite sure. Like I said, this is pure speculation. I'm not quite sure if they're going to appear, but if they do, it would be very interesting to see. And obviously, I can take them off in this bingo card, or cross them off. So right, the next square is the third one and the last one for this line. This is the LOD setup, the League of Doom setup. Obviously, Lex Luthor is included in this new Superman film, and I think maybe at the end of the film he's going to hesitate on whether or not he's going to kill Superman, or do it alone, right? So maybe he'll try to contact some other villains. Maybe he'll contact, I don't know, Gorilla Grodd. We've seen him in the Creature Commandos. Or Sinestro, obviously going to be set up in the new Lanterns series. So yeah, I think that might be interesting to see. Lex Luthor obviously is a villain, so he might be a part of the League of Doom later on. Obviously played by Nicholas Hoult, which is an interesting actor too. And yeah, I would love to see Lex Luthor actually, be the captain of the League of Doom. Excuse me there. But yeah, I think it would be very interesting to see. So alright, let's talk about the second last three squares. Yeah, I suppose that made sense. Anyway. So alright, as you can already see, we have three squares here too. We have Hope, we have Batman, and we have the Phantom Zone appears. Let's talk about these ones. I'm going to explain why I think these three things will appear in the film. Alright, so the first one is quite obvious. It's hope. Superman represents hope, right? Batman represents vengeance, and obviously Wonder Woman represents love in a way, or respect. So the first one, hope. I think this is this is an obvious one. I'm going to cross this one off when I literally begin the first minutes of the film, or maybe after the film. Maybe I should just watch the film first and take off the other things. And I think Superman, he stands for hope, and we've already seen that in the teaser trailer, or in the trailer. So I mean, this one is quite obvious. This one is going to be in the film. He's going to help people. He's going to be hope for people, and I think that's interesting and really good to see in a Superman, obviously. So there we go. We have The next one, we have Batman in this smaller square, like I said. Obviously, Batman, I'm not quite sure if he'll appear, just like Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter. These are rare ones, these ones aren't really going to happen, but if they were going to happen, it would be cool. But I don't think Batman will appear. I just think like a mention of him, like mention of Bruce Wayne, maybe Lex Luthor talks about other billionaires and philanthropists, maybe he mentions Bruce Wayne, so I guess that's part of Batman, right? So maybe they refer back to Gotham. I guess that's also kind of part Batman. Just this square is like a rare square. This represents, I guess, the Batman world, like Gotham, maybe Bruce Wayne, maybe he'll mention Wayne Industries, something along those lines. So this is just pure speculation. This is just hyping myself up, but these are all very interesting possibilities, right? Every little square that I just designed and made up might not be in the film, but we just need to wait and see. There are a few that are very obvious and might appear, and there are a few that won't appear, right? But obviously that's all right, that's okay. It's great to analyze the trailer and the teaser trailer and to talk about my speculations of the film. So right, the next one is the last one of this line, and that's the Phantom Zone will appear. So the Phantom Zone is essentially like this dimension where Superman puts his villains in. Maybe he'll imprison Lex Luthor there, or maybe they'll go there somehow, some way, and maybe Superman gets stuck there. I'm not quite sure, but we'll need to wait and see. But because I think the Phantom Zone is like part of the Superman lore, and it's interesting. We'll need to wait and see for this, obviously. But it appeared in the Lego Batman movie. Obviously, all the other bad guys and all the other villains appeared in the Phantom Zone there. So it might be interesting to see. So right, let's talk about the three last squares. Alright, the last three squares are Ultraman, I suppose, the Terrifics setup, and Supergirl. So alright, let's talk about these ones too. The last square, obviously, of the last row is Ultraman. Is like Ultraman. I suppose Ultraman in the new Superman film is fully black. He wears like this black suit and he wears these goggles and he's called Ultraman. But the thing is, Ultraman in the comics is just like a copy of Superman from an alternate world or an alternate universe. I think Ultraman might be Ultraman, like he might be a clone or might be another different variant of Superman. Maybe Lex Luthor cloned him using some DNA, and Ultraman is actually the same one, or he looks like Superman, as Superman. I guess Ultraman is kind of like Ultraman, just like in the comics, just like in the film. Maybe he'll reveal himself to be like a variant, or maybe he looks like he resembles Superman in a way, or Clark Kent, whatever. So might be very interesting. So yeah, Ultraman is just Ultraman in the film, but I'm not quite sure about that one, obviously. So alright, the next one is the Terrifics setup. The Terrifics is a team, that consists of Plastic Man, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, and another woman or another girl. But yeah, they fight off like different villains too. But obviously, two of these characters already appeared in the Superman film, like Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho. But I'm not quite sure. This is a bit of an, I would say, a team that isn't really that well known, I suppose. But yeah, Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho are included in the film, and they might appear in this new setup. But alright, the last one is Supergirl, played by Millie Alcock. I think she might appear in the newest Superman film. Obviously, people have been teasing her, and people have been, trying to make her answer the question of, are you in the new Superman film? But she doesn't reply because she's a good actress and she's well trained. And I suppose she wasn't able, and, she doesn't really want to answer that question because it's still nice to see if she'll appear or if she'll not appear.
What are you excited to share with the fans about you being on the big screen as this character?
I just hope they like her. Talk about your role as Supergirl, obviously, but was there a moment where it kind of clicked and you felt super? Was it getting into the costume or like being on set for the first day?
What can we say about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow?
We can say that I am Supergirl.
You're not allowed to say anything.
I mean,
No, I don't want to get you in trouble. And it's your first talk show.
It's my first talk show.
I don't want to get you in
But
trouble.
alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for me today. This is my bingo card for the new Superman film. I already made one for the Jurassic World Rebirth film, and I'm going to make another one for the Fantastic Four film. So alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will just check you later. Goodbye, everyone.